Everyone thought Mia was harmless. She never raised her voice, never made eye contact for too long, and never answered more than what was asked. With oversized hoodies swallowing her tiny frame and her long black hair falling like a curtain over her face, Mia moved through the halls of Ridgewood High like a ghost. Quiet. Invisible. Safe. But that changed on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. It started like any other day. Mia sat in the back row of chemistry, silently sketching koi fish in the margins of her notebook. The teacher droned on about molecular bonds, but she had already read the entire chapter last week. In truth, she wasn't particularly interested in chemistry today. She was counting the minutes until the final bell, not because she was excited to go home, but because she had to walk through that hallway again. The East Wing hallway. The one where Justin Clark and his group of followers liked to hang out. Justin was the definition of a high school tyrant, tall, cocky, with a smug smirk permanently glued to his face. He was the kind of guy who never heard the word no and didn't understand the meaning of consequences. To him, making someone cry was just another way to pass time. And Mia? She was his new favorite target. She didn't know what she had done to attract his attention. Maybe it was because she was always alone. Maybe it was because she never fought back. Or maybe it was because Justin sensed something in her that threatened him. But he didn't know Mia's full story. No one did. The final bell rang. Mia shoved her sketchbook into her backpack and tightened the sleeves of her hoodie over her wrists. She kept her head low and made her way toward the dreaded hallway. She could already hear the laughter echoing off the lockers. As she turned the corner, she saw them, Justin, Tyler, and Drew, leaning against the lockers like they owned the place. And then, as if on cue, Justin stepped directly into her path. Well, he sneered. If it isn't Miss Mute Mouse. Mia didn't respond. She tried to step around him, but his arm shot out, blocking her. You too good to talk to us, huh? Tyler chuckled. Maybe she's got something to hide. Justin leaned in close. Or maybe she's just another freak hiding behind a hoodie. And then, without warning, he slapped her. It wasn't a hard slap, but it echoed through the hallway, a sharp crack that froze time. Mia's hair whipped across her face. She blinked. Slowly. Deliberately. Something inside her snapped. Not emotionally. Not metaphorically. Literally. She dropped her backpack. In one fluid motion, she grabbed Justin's wrist with one hand, twisted his arm around his back, and drove her elbow down into the joint with terrifying precision. A sickening pop filled the air, followed by Justin's howl of pain as he collapsed to the floor, clutching his dislocated elbow. Tyler and Drew stared in stunned silence, mouths agape. And Mia? She stood over him, breathing steadily, her face calm but her eyes burning like coals. 2 minutes later, the teacher arrived, too late, of course. What happened here? Mr. Reynolds yelled, rushing toward the scene. Justin was on the floor, writhing. Tyler stammered something incoherent. Mia just stood still. It was self-defense, she said quietly. He slapped me. Mr. Reynolds stared at her, unsure whether to believe what he'd just heard. But the security footage confirmed everything. And by the end of the day, Justin was suspended. Word of what happened spread like wildfire. But the truth behind Mia's reaction was much deeper than anyone knew. She hadn't always been this quiet. Before Ridgewood, Mia lived in a different city. She had a father, a martial arts instructor, and a mother who encouraged strength in all forms. They were a small, happy family until the accident that took both her parents away. After the tragedy, Mia moved in with her distant aunt, and silence became her shield. She stopped speaking. Stopped trusting. Stopped being. But she hadn't forgotten her father's lessons. Every night after her aunt went to sleep, she practiced the forms he taught her. Not for revenge. Not to impress. But to remember. To survive. So when Justin crossed the line, she didn't react out of anger. She reacted because she could. Because her silence didn't mean weakness. The following days were strange. People looked at Mia differently. Some were scared. Some were impressed. And some, like Hannah, a girl from art class, finally mustered the courage to sit next to her at lunch. "You're kind of a legend," she whispered. Mia smiled faintly. "I'm just tired of being pushed around. You ever think about joining the self-defense club? I think they could use someone like you." Mia didn't answer right away. Then she nodded. "Maybe." By the end of the semester, Mia had found her voice, not through yelling, not through violence, but by standing firm in her truth. She started tutoring students in art, helping younger girls learn basic self-defense, and even gave a small speech at the school's Voices Unheard assembly. No longer the invisible girl in the hoodie. Now, she was a symbol of quiet strength. And as for Justin? He returned after his suspension. But he never looked Mia in the eye again. Not because he feared her strength, but because he finally respected it.